Magic the Gathering's new Unfinity set is absolutely insane. Not only does it feature full art shocklands that have outer space themed artwork, but on top of that, Wizards of the Coast has decided to discontinue silver borders, and instead, Unfinity is going to be printed with black borders.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The magic historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. My friends, I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered to discuss the end of an era and the beginning of a new era. There is a lot of shakeup going on in the world of uncards. The most notable being the shift from silver bordered to black bordered. This is going to be a contentious change. There will be some people who are super stoked about the fact that the cards are black bordered, and there will be other people who are huge silver bordered enthusiasts who will be disappointed and go, wait a minute, there are a bunch of cards that reference silver bordered cards. Honestly, you're just going to kind of have to muddle through. That's somewhat been the way of the unset, but I understand people who are disappointed by this change. I ultimately haven't unpacked all my feelings about it, so maybe we'll go more in depth about that in a future discussion. Now, let us take a look at some crazy uncards in black border. So, Assembled Ensemble. 1 white and 4 gets you a star 6 artifact creature that is a clown robot bard. You can see already, clown robots, pretty weird concept. So, this has vigilance. Assembled Ensemble's power is equal to the number of robots you control. Whenever you cast a spell with an artifact creature in its art, create a 1/1 white clown robot artifact creature token. The flavor text says, known for their hit single, your wait from this point is 7 hours. So the idea behind Unfinity, if you didn't already know, is it's essentially like a space carnival. They took the concept of circuses, carnivals, and everything like that and kind of crammed them all together. So this is almost like a bunch of birthday robots you might see at like a low budget Chuck E. Cheese kind of venue. You know what I mean? It honestly doesn't feel that different from a normal Magic card in terms of it's a tribal card that cares about its tribe, creates cards of its tribe. The only differentiation is the fact that you look at the artwork to determine whether you're getting a clown robot, right? So this is a silly thing to dip your toes in with. Now I want to point out down here at the bottom, there is an acorn like hollow stamp on this. This is the way that they are indicating the cards that are the craziest variation of uncards. Basically with this set, after it was designed, they clearly chose after the set was designed, wait a minute, we're going to go black border with it. So they divided the cards out into 2 styles. Ones that were really wacky and insane and you really couldn't play in any kind of like tournament format, and they gave those acorn hollow foils. And the ones that could theoretically be played in eternal formats, they gave the regular hollow foil too. So, you know, when I think about these changes, my brain goes, I get it. A lot of silver bordered cards end up in the trash. People just throw them away. So making them black bordered most likely will give them a longer lifespan, but at the same time, it diminishes their special nature to people. So, like I said, we'll get more into that later. Let's look at some more cards. We've got Saw in Half. So this is one that's not quite as silly, and this is one they consider you could play in Eternal. So Saw in Half is 1 black and 2 for an instant. Destroy target creature. If that creature dies this way, its controller creates 2 tokens that are copies of that creature, except their base power is half that creature's power and toughness, and you round up each time. So this is actually kind of silly and fun, right? I mean, it's very silly, let's be real. You're literally hacking somebody in half. The guy in the artwork, he has an Army of Darkness style chainsaw going on. That's amazing. Chosen One leaps up, chunk. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, I love that movie. It's so good. Anyways, if you take a look at this card, I mean, how is it much different than Necro Duality from Crimson Vow, right? right? It's literally like the same kind of concept. It's just make 2 tokens that are a copy of a creature. Here's their power and toughness. Totally feels like they could have done this as a card in Crimson Vow. If you just took the artwork and changed it so that it was a more rustic kind of saw, it would work just fine, right? The flavor text says, the audience always loves it, but volunteers are divided. There you go. This card ties together really well. I like it. Moving on. We've got Killer Cosplay. I love this. 1 green for artifact equipment. This one's mythic. Whenever Killer Cosplay becomes attached to a creature, choose a creature card name with an identical mana cost. That creature becomes a copy of the card with the chosen name until Killer Cosplay becomes unattached from it. So basically, whatever the casting cost of the creature that you have that you equip this to, you can turn it into any other creature in Magic's history with the exact same casting cost, which can be really, really ridiculous. For example, you could equip this to a 1/1 artifact creature, right? Who just costs 1 colorless, or 1 generic mana, as the kids say these days. And you could put this cosplay onto it and go, he's cosplaying as a Phyrexian Dreadnought. A Phyrexian Dreadnought is a 12/12 trampler for 1 mana. So you can do some silly stuff. But I love the flavor of this. The flavor text says, Ach, Hans, run! Get the camera! He's adorable! Steffi Bob's daughter, next words. So that's a play on the Lurgoyf flavor text, where it says, Ach, Hans, run! It's the Lurgoyf, and it is the last words of Safi Eric's daughter, right? So last words versus next words. The fact that this guy, the little bear here, is cosplaying as a Goyf? How much fun is that? I love it. And also, in case you didn't realize it, one of the things they've done with this unset is not only are they doing the carnival sort of like interspace festival, they've also got, it's like bootleg Magic. They're using Magic concepts without paying for the Magic IP. So it's like aware that they're actually Magic cards. It's a crazy concept. I don't know if I'm explaining it fully, but I'll probably take too long. Let's move on. We've got the Space Family Goblinson instead of the Space Family Robinson. 1 green, 1 red, and 2 for a 1/1 legendary goblin guest. Space Family Goblinson has trample as long as you've rolled 3 or more dice this turn. Whenever you roll a die, put a +1/+1 counter on the Space Family Goblinson. All right, so you've got Space Family Goblinson. There's a ton of die rolling in the world of Un, although you obviously can use a lot of die rolling outside of Un as well now, thanks to sets like D&D and some older cards. The flavor text says, the goblin word for vacation translates roughly to a battered landscape of noise and violence. That's a lot of fun. So you can see in the artwork, you've got this poor father who's just trying to keep his little goblin squad together. And in the background, I assume what is his goblin wife, who's holding a little goblin baby, has managed to like lose their little spaceship kite. I have to admit, the space theme of this isn't bothering me nearly as much as I thought it would. I'm genuinely digging this. You know what's weird though? This card doesn't have any kind of expansion symbol where it's uncommon. And the first card we looked at was an uncommon that did. Not expansion symbol, sorry, but holo stamp. Huh. Moving on. This is the special showcase style. What they do is they take the original artwork that was done by the Magic artist, give it to a different artist who does it in this retro pop style. So you can see, same kind of concept. Oh, never mind. In the previous artwork, one of her babies is in that spaceship. So she's upset because that baby is like getting away. You can see it in this artwork. She's lost one of her children while the other dad's trying to corral the other ones. There you go. That works. I like it. Look at the top of this frame. You've got like the legendary frame done differently, a little space symbol up at the top. That's cool. I like it. All right, so then we've got the basic lands. There's 2 different types. They're done from different perspectives, and I have to admit, they look pretty cool. They don't really feel like Magic the Gathering to me, but they are really cool. Like, look at this mountain. This looks awesome. This gigantic, like, gas ball or whatever floating around in front of, I don't know, a sun? Pretty crazy. So then we've got the forest, and this is just like, welcome to Spaceball. Look at that. Look at that green mana symbol, though. Doesn't that look amazing? Like, isn't that crazy? You've got different kinds of stylings of lands, right? So they're kind of, I've got them kind of mixed up here just to take a look at the different style. Like, see how you've got the one with the mana symbol, and you've got like one basically like planetary and one like orbital view. This does not feel like a forest at all. The artwork is beautiful, but this doesn't feel like a forest, not even slightly, right? Like, look at that. Come on. Then the planes, man, these are really striking pieces of artwork. Like, this is a cool bit of outer spaceness, but I cannot get around the fact that it absolutely does not feel like Magic the Gathering to me at all. All right. Then we got this. This is an island. All right. So I guess the idea is just show planets and like put things that represent the color in there. You know what I mean? Because it's an island. Make sure there's a bunch of water and snow for snow cover, what all that kind of stuff. I mean, I feel like with these, I don't have too much to say other than here is another sphere in space. Here is another sphere in space. The swamp looks like a dead, lifeless asteroid. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about these. You know, like, look at this plains. Okay, now you've got, I don't know, balls of goo. You can drink them. Maybe they're full of peach juice. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Then we got, oh, wow, look at that. That is pretty messed up, actually. Crazy looking, like, trees that are leaking this kind of yellowish rot. Oh, ugh, very evocative. Very evocative indeed. And, oh, that island actually looks really cool. Never mind. Okay, you know what? I guess the ones that are on the planet are easier for me to get behind. The ones from outer space are very much outer space. The ones that are on the planet don't feel as much of a divergence. This looks like an island you could actually slap onto a plane like Mirrodin. There's a lot going on in the artwork. In the background, you've got these big kind of rocky shelves that are curved and feel like they might be made out of the same stuff that like a snail's shell is made out of. And in the foreground, you have these kind of weird, sort of rocky or maybe like weird looking plants that are popping up. Some cool looking art. Look at this mountain. Wow, with the lava pouring out and everything. This looks great. Kind of almost looks like alien eggs that have busted open and lava's flowing out of them. Very evocative, and it's got the right feel to it. This is cool. All right. So let's take a look at these space age, space era full art shocklands. These, in my opinion, are going to be what push the packs out the door, right? The truth is, Wizards of the Coast has milked full art lands almost as hard as they can. The fact that this is space themed and goes so far outside the norm establishes like some level of value to these lands, but ultimately full art regular basic lands have become far less special. They used to be something that was only in unsets, and then Wizards of the Coast just went like crazy slapping them into every set. So they had to figure out new ways to sell this unset, and clearly going, yo, let's make it black bordered, yo, let's include these borderless full art style overgrown tomb and other shocklands, right? That was a smart move from a money perspective. So the artwork shows an ancient spacecraft with a bunch of like spores on it or whatever, and that actually works for green black, right? Because you can have the like the dead astronauts like that's the black side of it, and then the green side of it is these naturey spores. So that actually ties together quite well. Then we've got steam vents. This is beautiful, honestly. This doesn't even feel like a space-themed card, even though it's clearly shown from quite a height, right? You got that crazy flowing river of lava, and then you've got your actual steam vents, your little pools of water there with the steam all rising up, blowing in one direction. And you can see there's a little spacecraft actually flying in from the side, but I actually really like this. This is pretty. Then we've got the Hallowed Fountain, and this has a crazy feel to it. This definitely transmits kind of that space concept almost with the multiple moons in the back. You've got the landed spacecraft. I wonder if that actually is the same spacecraft from the previous artwork. And then you've got crazy little alien yellow spheres of amber or whatever. I will admit, I'm a little thirsty right now, and that like blue river that's running through that cold glacial water, it actually looks very thirst quenching. But this is some striking art. After that, we've got the Blood Crypt. Oh, look at that, man. You've got a crazy orange, molten-y kind of moon that is illuminating plants that almost feel like they're floating in like anti-gravity. Just the way that they're up there, like, I don't know, there's just something about the thinness of the stems and the way the bulbs are on the end. It makes it feel like this is a very low gravity environment to me. After that, we've got Watery Grave. This is very nice, actually. This is a pretty looking piece of artwork, even if it is representing a morbid concept. We have a crashed down spaceship, most likely again with an astronaut who has lost their life, or some other alien species, who knows, right? But it is submerged in a pool of water, working very well for the black-blue concept, and the sparkling stars in the night sky look beautiful. Then we've got Temple Garden. Now this is some cool looking artwork. This could legitimately be a regular piece of Magic artwork if it didn't have that spaceship just zooming in through the back there. And I like that because you've got an option. If you like space stuff, it's got a space theme, but if you don't really like that, you can definitely appreciate this nature. It's got like a kind of this orderly feel to it, and all the waterways in the background with the plants coming up out of it makes me think of like rice paddies and stuff. I like it. It's got a very verdant feel. After that, we've got, oh, look at this breeding pool. It's pretty. All right, man. So this is the green-blue one, and the artwork definitely represents the green-blue concept. This is lush with life. You've got a bunch of lotuses opening up, but if you look in the middle, the lotuses actually have what looks like an eyeball on the crazy little worm creatures that are in the water. So are these like lotuses that open up and birth crazy tentacle monsters? Cool concept. Then we've got Stomping Ground, literally a meteor shower. So all the green below the forests, there's your green mana. The meteor showers, the flaming meteors flying down, slamming in, brings the red mana to the party. And I mean, this could literally just be a spell meteor shower. This feels magical with the exception of the UFO that is flying in the background. A little subtle. I didn't even notice it at first. Then we've got Sacred Foundry. This is insane looking, man. You can literally see like a planet or a little moon being deconstructed, obliterated, blasting outwards. This is the moment after the destruction sequence has been initiated. That is pretty wild. And you got your little UFO flying out there. Hey, check it out. I'm a Martian in my flying saucer. After that, we've got the Godless Shrine, which is crazy. It's got almost like the planet, because you've got an eclipse going on, it makes it look like a void. And you've got this spaceship flying away in front of it. This one definitely screams outer space. And I guess the white-black eclipse is supposed to be where the two different colors of mana come from. Overall, not too shabby. I do have one more thing to show you, and that is this is going to be the pre-release promo. This is Water Gun Balloon Game, and it's so weird to me. This really hits home with the fact that we have departed the realm of Silver Border, because this is a card that was originally printed in Silver Border, but it's being printed in Black Border, and even look at the symbol. The expansion symbol, not expansion, I get the hollow stamp is not an acorn. It is regular, right? So Water Gun Balloon Game is 2 mana for an artifact that says, as it enters the battlefield, each player puts a pop counter on 0, or use the bullseye. Whenever a player casts a spell, move that player's pop counter up 1. Whenever a player's pop counter hits 5, that player creates a 5/5 pink giant teddy bear creature token and resets all pop counters to 0. So you'll notice that they literally have on either side of this water game, you've got the number boop, 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 going up, and you actually use that to mark on your card. Boom, 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 boom. And the idea behind this is that old carnival game. I don't know if you guys have ever played it, but here's a little hint. Try and figure out which of the water guns has better pressure, because you will get like ruined otherwise. If you pick the wrong water firing little pistol one and the other guy's got one that's better, he's gonna beat you. It's whoever can shoot the most water into the target faster ends up inflating like whatever it is, like the balloon or whatever it is, and then boom, you win, you get the carnival prize. And I like the way that this is represented in the artwork. Every time you cast a spell, that's you moving up the chain. Whoever gets to 5 first gets the prize, a 5/5 giant pink teddy bear. So, you know what I mean? If you do very well at the carnival, they do give you giant oversized prizes. So it does fit into that concept, but also a card that just says every 5 spells that are cast by a player gets them a 5/5 giant like bear token or whatever could totally fit in the normal realm of Magic. And you take a look at the artwork, you can see 2 individuals that are playing this water gun game, and it looks like Buddy on the right is winning quite a bit. It looks like there's like the balloons, I don't know, it kind of looks like a boxing glove, right? And above it you have the teddy bears, but they don't look like no 5/5 teddy bear. Anyways, this is the pre-release promo. It's very weird to me that we're leaving the realm of silver bordered, so if you're somebody who loves silver bordered and like has a bunch of silver bordered decks, I feel your pain. I understand. Anyhow, that wraps up everything we have to talk about for Unfinity today. We'll cover more of it as the information comes along. Thanks for being here, my friends. A big shout out to all my patrons and a warm welcome to Ben Williams. Thanks for joining my Patreon. You will see your name at the bottom of the scroll today. Goodbye, everyone.